Hello millennials, today's lesson is about feeling stuck because you're hemmed in by expectations, societal expectations, and I want to give this message to you because it's probably affecting your confidence. So I've had a bit of a think this today basically, and there's a couple of truths that I want to just bring to you which you might be a bit hemmed in by, and I want you to release them. I want you to let go of them because they're probably not serving you just as they weren't serving me. So number one, family. Okay, now I always grew up with the belief that family is important. I have quite a big wider family. My mum has a lot of siblings, so we have a lot of cousins as well. But as I look back over the years, we now have cousins getting married, and there's a few getting married next year, and I said no to a lot of their weddings because, quite frankly, seeing somebody once a year on Christmas is not enough to form a relationship, and they are practically strangers to me. So my belief has totally shifted. So I want to let you know that if that is happening to you, that is perfectly okay. The second thing is, at the moment we're coming up to a time of, gifting and thinking about people who've spent time with us this year. I'm going to be honest with you. So if people haven't spent time with you this year, and then why are we bothering to send them gifts and things like that? Because these people you can end up clinging on to people, and I've certainly done this before. I had so I'll tell you a real story. So I had a guy who I met when I was in college, just friends through circumstance, and basically what happened was met up a couple of times and things like that, and then I moved away, and so to get to see this person, it was 2.5 hours to my relatives, and then another like 45 minutes to go and see them. And every time I said I'd come down, and I was working minimum wage at the time, and I wasn't working full time, so it was quite a big thing, to travel all that way because it was a lot of petrol money, and quite often they didn't have the guts or the balls to actually say, I'm not sure I want to carry on with this friendship anymore, or whatever it was. And that left me in a place where, to be honest with you, I was quite torn. I was practically chasing after this person because it took me a while to figure out that that was obviously their intention. They seemed really nice, but who knows. And I just think that that's cowardly. So just be careful this year who you send gifts and things to, because you don't always get reciprocated. I'm not talking about in terms of being given anything back in terms of materialistically, but if they're not giving back to you in friendship, really have a think about that. I'm spending less and less money on things and gifting this year because, quite frankly, there's only a handful of people who've really reached out to help me, and I used to be a very, very giving person, but I've learnt my lessons being burnt once or twice. So the third thing is, before you go away, about putting yourself first. So I have had to put myself first. Today I've actually had a bit of a clean out of things that were holding me back from the past, and if you need to do that, I want to let you know that that is also okay going into this next phase, whether it's the next month or whatever it is you want to do. There's never a bad time to have a look around and go, do you know what, this isn't serving me anymore, and to move on with that. Just get rid of stuff, because you end up being dragged into the past, and it can be really confusing, and you're not able to move into the future. So that's the third thing. That's all I want to bring to you today. Some truth bombs. Don't get caught in those traps, because you can end up, as I did for many years, actually getting caught in those traps and feeling like, oh, why don't I make the effort to do X, Y, and Z, and I should be doing this, and I should be doing this. And you end up giving your time to everyone else but yourself, and not getting anything back in terms of, if you're chasing people and they're not reciprocating, they're not picking up your phone calls and replying, or even just sending a text message, say a week or so later, then that's not a good friend, that's not a good thing for you. And it's better to have less friends and things like that than to have kind of not false friends but just acquaintances. It's like with those people who you see like they've got 5,000 friends on Facebook, and you're like, yeah, of course they're your real bosom buddies, but it's just something I want you to be aware of, because it can set up real bad ambivalence. So you have like conflicting views basically about the same thing. You're like, oh, I should do this, but actually I feel this way, and you can end up feeling like you're a bad person. You're not a bad person, This is just real life, and I want you to regain your confidence by putting yourself first. I think we live in a society where sometimes us millennials are told things that are not true, and you know, we are more selfish as a generation, and I'm not surprised because we live in a society where there's not a lot of loyalty from jobs and other things as well. So I do get it, and obviously that's why I set up the weekly meetup membership, because I know people are struggling to make friends. I know that it's hard to meet up. I know that it's difficult. I know it's difficult to keep those relationships, geographical distances, lots of other things going on. So you can just turn up once a week on Saturday online instead. If you want more details, obviously just let me know. We'll just have a chat and a laugh and a banter, and you know, do a bit of mindset as well for those who want it. So that's it from me. Have a lovely day.